I'm glad to reconnect with you guys.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Yeah.
You. Okay, well, I think there's still going to be a few more people coming in late, but I think we should get going because we have lots of ground to cover tonight. So welcome everyone. Thanks to those of you that were able to join us live. And as I promised, you'll also receive the replay tomorrow. And so those of you that are watching the replay, welcome to you as well. All right. Yeah, so I think we just like to start with just a little check-in. And I know we just got a chance to check in with Cecilia and maybe type in the chat what drew you to tonight's event. Where are you at in life? What's going on for you? What are you feeling? What's alive in you? So maybe just a couple words in the chat where you're at.
And I'd also like to invite people if they're able to put the camera on if they could. That would be ideal.
Yeah, it's always great to see everyone. And if you can't, that's okay. All right, so Amy says the topic is intriguing. Awesome. Sacred shift. Yeah. Who else? Just taking a moment to just arrive with your breath, arrive with yourself, and whatever you're inspired to share. Wayne says the explanation seemed interesting. Thanks, Amy. Jeri's amazing. I'll take that. Jen, always excited for new learning. Going through lots of shifts. Thanks. Yeah, I hear you, girl. It's shift time. The shit's going down. I mean, the shift is going down. Cecilia wasn't able to participate in events like that in a long time. Nice to reconnect with you guys. Always learning from you and your guests. Lots of excellent positive energy. Yeah, so important, hey? Like I'm really noticing, who I spend time with. I have to be very discerning these days and mindful of my energy more than ever. All right, thank you so much. So, yeah, how many of you are going through your own little sacred shift or at that? So our topic tonight and the title of our upcoming retreat together is called The Sacred Shift, Crossing the Evolutionary Threshold. And I think that a lot of us, and including just life itself, we're in a threshold moment. So we really are kind of on the edge of a threshold in our lives. So I'm just curious how many of you are feeling like you're moving through that threshold, or you're actually kind of got one foot in the old world, one foot in the new world, and haven't yet taken the leap. And maybe you could use a little assistance. Anyone use a little assistance taking that quantum leap into what you know is possible? Yeah, so who here is feeling a call into greater purpose, greater leadership, greater service, but needs some tools, needs some support? Yeah, okay. Seeing lots of hands, and feel free to type yes in the chat if that resonates. So I think a lot of us are sensing this new paradigm that we've shifted into, but many of us are feeling a little bit stuck in that old paradigm of what's familiar. And so I like to say that we're sometimes stuck in a box that we've already outgrown. And then that becomes very painful, right? When we're really feeling like I know there's something more. I know there's something that I really need to let go of that I'm clinging on to. But when we're not living our truth, then we're actually betraying ourselves. And so how many of you are feeling that urge to merge with this new life, this new paradigm that's coming in, that's already here. I believe it's already here. Yeah, urge to merge. I don't know where that came from. and and how many of you seem to need more sleep than usual and be more mindful of your energy? Because I'm hearing that a lot too with my clients, is that they need to take those breaks where they used to be able to get away with, just pushing through. Now they need to rest. They need to take that time to renew. They need to stop several times a day and really marry that being with the doing energy. And so that feminine energy with the masculine energy, right? The doing with just feeling and healing. So there's a whole lot of feeling and healing taking place in my life. Anyone else doing a lot of feeling and healing with maybe old stuff coming up that they hadn't connected with for a very long time? Yeah, tired lots. Yeah, so true. Good. Yeah, not just me. Like old memories, childhood stuff, old relationships. So it seems like everything that's incomplete is coming up to be integrated now, coming up to be resolved and integrated as wisdom, including some ancestral stuff. So some of us have been on a personal development journey for a very long time, and we kind of feel like we go to these workshops and we attend these events and I kind of feel like, yeah, been there, done that. Doesn't it all start to sound the same after a while? Anyone? Yeah, it all starts to sound the same. And it feels like we're not really getting to what's real and that real connection and that real truth. And for me, it's a call to simplify. So who's been decluttering their life? Yeah, so physically, right? Physical stuff that we're just kind of look at and it's like, this isn't me anymore. Relationships. So a lot of people aren't resonating with their old tribe. And so a lot of people are kind of decluttering relationships too and just being more discerning who they spend time with. There's a letting go of like actually people that just live in completely different realities than one another, right?
Yes, I have to sell my yacht and my mansion.
Yeah. You just don't resonate with yeah, good for you. Yeah, so I'm hearing that a lot too, that as you know, and as we up level consciousness, some people, not everyone comes with us. And that's okay. We can just love them from a distance. But it's also a big adjustment. So it can be painful, it can be difficult, this letting go. Yeah, so lots of letting go, lots of need to rest, rejuvenate. And I think that Orest is going to fill us in a little bit more about that. And we promised that we'd share kind of that current energetic happenings in the world. And so, what can you share with us, Orest, about that? What's
Yeah,
happening?
first of all, I'd like to say hello and welcome to Camilla there with Cecilia, her daughter. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's highly fascinating times. I was just talking to a group of people the other day and at an organization here in town, and just talking about like our mind, as you obviously all know, is a tricky thing, right? But when we think about things in the world, oftentimes what happens with our intellect is that it flattens things out into a two-dimensional kind of vantage point. And so for me, what I really recognize has been coming to the forefront, and this is a part of my work, is I was talking to this group about energy, and not just energy inside of our body, but our energetic field, the emotional field, the imaginal realm, our mental and spiritual energy, and all of this stuff goes in and around our bodies, and like in a toroidal field, like a donut kind of, right, with a little hole in the middle, and so that toroidal field of energy, we're starting to move into this understanding that not everything is contained in our brain. Things flow through us and move through us at different times. And that's why they say, even as an example, that kids can have such wisdom because they're not locked down to anything. And so wisdom can pass through them. They're open to receive, right? And so just the idea of this reality is expanding, and we're having an opportunity to step up and up level into a version of reality where this old way that our intellect would perceive the world in this flattened 2D space, it's not accurate, and it doesn't it doesn't allow us to step into our wholeness and be like that. And so a prime example I like to use is, if you looked at a picture of the old this new AI stuff, when I raise my hand to do something, I speak with my hands, and so AI is always trying to raise hands and do all this stuff. But it's interesting because in the old version of the solar system, even, you'd see a picture on a piece of paper with the sun and all the planets surrounding it in rings around the thing. The reality is that the sun's cruising through space at 70,000 kilometers an hour, and it's dragging all the planets in their trajectories in rotational fields in behind it, so that it looks like all these planets whipping in behind the sun, and it looks like a giant strand of DNA from the three-dimensional perspective when you see it happening. And so it's fascinating because we're coming into this period of time where we're gaining a larger understanding of what's possible, and the access to what I like to call intelligences. And Jerry alluded to this by saying, talking about the ancestral realm as an example. I look at the ancestral realm as another level of intelligence that we can tap into. There's the realm of, the imaginal realm. There's the realm of the angelic beings. There's the round of the ascended, the realm of the ascended masters. And we can tap into those realms. And for me, just as a way of explaining it, I look at that as like a form of intelligence. And inside of this energetic toroidal field, we can invite these intelligence into our space so that things can come through us and flow through us, it's just a different way of perceiving reality, so to speak. And so along with that increasing sort of expanded view of what's possible, and sort of who we are as energetic beings on the planet itself. um has anyone heard of the I know Wayne has, but other than Wayne, has anybody heard of the Schumann resonance of the planet? Schumann resonance field. The Schumann was a researcher who discovered this, but the Schumann resonance field is basically the vibratory rate of the planet. And so for years and years, when they uncovered this, I think it was about right around the time that there was the first radio broadcasts going on. And they set the radio broadcast signal to the Schumann resonance, which was 7.83 hertz, which basically means the Earth pulses almost 8 times every second of time that we perceive. So what's been happening now lately, it's been happening for years, but something really kicked into another gear at spring equinox this past year, March 21st. The solar activity that's been happening, the solar activity bombardment from the sun, and the sun has a coronal hole on top of it now. And every about 28 days or so, that hole faces the Earth, and it just blasts straight magnetic energy onto the planet. And so what that does is it bumps the Schumann resonance frequency up. So what used to be steady at 8 hertz or 8 pulses a second can surge up to 40, 50, 60. They've had measurements in the 70s and in the 80s. So that means that the Earth is pulsing between 40 and 80 times a second. And so even though we don't track that with our mind necessarily, our nervous system picks right up on it. And so we experience that as stress, anxiety, overwhelm, a kinetic energy, an inability to be able to ground ourselves. We feel off. It causes us to want to have more sleep because our system's just overloaded with energy. And so, Jerry had said people needing to rest more and all these things, and people, we're trained and conditioned in a lot of ways to just keep pushing and keep grinding and, keep showing up for work and keep doing the stuff and all this stuff. And so, but there's a lot of energetic fluctuation that's happening with the Schumann resonance field. And the poles have been moving on the planet a little more than oscillating a little more than usual. And so, as an example, last in the Ring of Fire in the Pacific Rim or the Pacific Ocean, all the circles and all the different countries around the Pacific Rim, um, last month in the last 30 days, there's been 397 earthquakes that have been over 5.0 on the Richter scale. So normally there's a lot of low level earthquakes, 2 and 3, and that's, a little bit of activity. But 397 quakes um, over 5.0, with the largest being 8.8 in Russia a couple weeks ago. We're starting to see like there's volcanic activity going on all around that Pacific Ocean rim, and the seismologists and people are clocking all this stuff, and they're actually monitoring off the coast of Oregon a humongous volcano that's underwater. It's a super volcano, and they're monitoring this thing, and some people, are scared, and some people are like, "Oh my God, this is the first time we're going to catch a volcanic eruption under the water in full HD video," right? Like, it's so funny our perspectives on things, but. So there's a lot of activity going on with the planet, and so tectonically there's shifts going on, and the Earth is quaking, and the vibratory frequency is spiking and going up and down, and so these things are there because when the vibrational frequency shifts, it causes the stuff that's heavy inside of our system uh, to shake up. It's like recalibrating all the time, a constant state of recalibration. And in that process, all the old heavy emotional stuff, the past traumas, the stuff that's going on in relationships, and that's why some of our relationships don't fit anymore. Some of the ways that we used to show up don't fit anymore. Some of the work that we had done in the past doesn't fit anymore. And I saw Wayne allude to the sleep thing. It's like we process a lot of stuff in our sleep. And so lots of people are talking about really vivid and crazy, wild dreams that they're having, right? And so, on top of all of that stuff, though, people are stepping into heightened levels of awareness. Their psychic stuff is off the charts. The spiritual gifts, talents, and abilities that we came into the world with are becoming ever more present. And so, along with all that, there's also fear, right? Because there's fear of the unknown, and there's a lot of change that we're being asked to make. And we have, especially when it comes to like relationship stuff, right? If we're in a relationship that doesn't vibrationally fit anymore, what do we do with that? Especially if we have houses and we have kids and we have investments and we have all this stuff. It's like, those things can be tough to break away to. And if our partners are still wanting to be sleepy, then that's a challenging place in and of itself, right? And so I'm not suggesting to take any kind of actions. I'm just saying be aware and understand that things are going on. Even people, there's been so many people that I see online in my circles of influence and people coming across my path, engaging in some of the work that I'm doing, who are like, man, all of a sudden a year ago I had this huge wake up, or 2 years ago I had this huge wake up, and now my life is totally different. I was just having breakfast with a guy this morning who he said to me, you know what? When we first met like 4 or 5 years ago, I was a completely different person. I had a completely different life. And it's like now here you are as this person that's just totally shifted his life, especially in the last 18 months, right? It's like the energy of the day supports these quickened shifts and adjustments as well, right? So that's why Jerry and I were called. We've been kind of dancing around the circle a little bit together for a while, and then we finally made the connection and said, okay, let's put something together and offer a workshop to people. And so that's how this sacred shift crossing the evolutionary threshold came about. And so I'm glad for you guys to be here and take part in this tonight. And this is just a part of a larger workshop offering that's happening later in September. So yeah, I just wanted to put in my what I've been noticing in terms of some of the shifting that's been going on, and everybody's feeling it, right? And so, it's like what wants to be born through our experience, what vision is emerging in our field that really wants us to grab hold of a part of it and to start taking those actions towards allowing this emergence to occur. And it's so interesting because everything's got its time and its place. And but sometimes in our minds we want everything to happen like right now. So sitting still for a minute is can be a challenge, right?
Yeah, thank you. Definitely there's some divine impatience, I think, with people, right? Which is a beautiful thing because that's already affirming that it's already done. Like on some level, it's already done. We're impatient for it to show up in our lives, and we're not the doers anymore. And so there is a call for much greater trust, trusting ourselves, trusting life, up leveling your relationship with life and with source to a trusting, loving relationship so that you don't have to be in charge of everything, so that you can actually surrender as general manager of the universe and give it back, right? So next level of surrender. And that's really kind of what I'm all about, is helping people to shift from that need to be in control of everything, that fear of letting go of what they know, letting go of what's familiar, because it's not really a fear of the unknown as much as it's a fear of letting go of the known, letting go of what's familiar, what you're comfortable with. And more than anything, one of my mentors has said to me that the greatest ability that we have right now, well, number one, I always said is availability. So are you actually here? Are you available for the divine to be the doer and to work through you? Or are you too busy being the problem solver and thinking that you have to control everything, including yourself? That we actually have to stop. We have to be still. We have to make ourselves available, because availability means that you live in this moment and that you don't have all of this plan all laid out in front of you. And that is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to not have everything planned out. But I'm finding that I can't. Like, it's almost impossible. And so I know that it's a call for the next level of trust and surrender. And I studied with a Zen Buddhist master who said, never teach from a piece of paper. He said, just show up empty and available. And that's one of the reasons that I was so attracted to Orest and his teachings, is because he talks about the hollow bone and speaking from that place and that availability, just being open and empty. And then I can feel where the words are coming from. And it's totally different than, like, there's very few people that I resonate with on that level that actually speak from that place of wisdom and embodied experience and openness, rather than just regurgitating from a book or something that they read. In which case, it's not a truth activation. It's not activating. It isn't opening my heart. And everything I'm about in my business, called Living from Heart Center, is facilitating a heart opening for people. And so that's one of my hopes, that tonight you experience a heart opening, that you become more available. So that availability and the skill of getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, that is so needed right now. You better get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because what's happening is uncomfortable. It's unfamiliar, it's unprecedented times. And we're learning together. You're not meant to do this on your own. So it is important to find people that are living on the evolutionary edge, right? On the leading edge. Already operating in this new paradigm that is one of surrender, one of trust, one of flow. And it's uncomfortable until it isn't, right? Where life just happens through you and as you. So it's a higher level of consciousness that's being asked for. And what happens is we have to, everything that's coming to the surface and being rattled to the surface, we're pouring in all this love, all this consciousness. So anything that's unconscious in us is coming up to be seen. And this is a good thing, but it can sure feel discombobulating and uncomfortable, to say the least. So I see a lot of you kind of nodding and affirming, yep, I'm in the right place. I'm feeling all of it, right? And remember that what you're feeling, you're healing. And we have to stop, operating from the monkey mind and the head as this problem solver and drop down into this connected place, this feeling place. Because my whole mission is to help people die with no regret when it comes their time by living and loving fully now. Because at the end of your life, the only thing we regret is that we didn't love more. So if you're not loving fully, if you're still holding back love, navigating how much to give, how much to receive, then you're not living fully. Living fully is loving fully. Loving fully is living fully. You are that. But we have all of these heart walls and blocks and beliefs about ourselves, about others, and about life that are preventing us from living in love, living in a frequency of unconditional love and connection. And so that's been my mission for many years. And I started on my personal development journey when my father died in 2001. And then I really dove in doing retreats all over North America, studying with different masters in 2005, and started coaching. And of course, my business has taken on all sorts of different iterations, from a focus on parenting and conscious parenting, parenting from heart, to living from heart center. Because I realize that you can't really parent from a place that you don't know how to live from. Right? We need to be the role model of what that looks like. And so I know that the people that showed up tonight are leaders of this change. They're role modeling something new, something different, or at least have a burning desire to do that. You're being called. So thank you for listening. And Orest, what's your mission? Who is Orest for those of you that haven't met Orest?
It's funny, my official mission, um, uh, according to my business description, is to um, consciously co-create and connect conscious communities of people. And so I have the opportunity to be able to tap into different communities and through the different people that I know, and just kind of move through these different circles and help people to align and connect and just continue to evolve this circle, this circle of oneness, this field of moving from this field of unity consciousness. And so that's a little bit about what I'm about. But I just wanted to, if I could, just read you guys something that is a part of my organization is called the Vision and Voices Collective, and I have an invitation that I had written for the Vision and Voices Collective. Do we have a moment? Can I quickly read this, Jeri? Do you mind?
Yeah, totally.
This kind of explains where I'm moving from within the work that I'm doing in the world as part of the Vision and Voices Collective. So I call upon the ones who remember and are ready to manifest their upliftment, those whose souls stretch across timelines, from the roots of the earth to the illumination of the stars. We gather now in remembrance of the sacred as a family of vision, voice, and vibration. We are the bridge between what has been and what longs to be born through us. We are the dreamers, the receivers, the weavers, the embodied leaders. We are the ones who walk in communion with the ancestors, with watchful hearts, listening for the needs, desires, and guidance of the generations yet to come. I vow to walk the path of the aligned master, the peacemaker, the wise elder and mystic, to speak with clarity, to listen with reverence, to move with purpose, to see with purity, to serve with compassion, to share with benevolence. I vow to be a keeper, holder, creator, and builder of visions, not only for myself, but for the collective evolution of humanity and all sentient beings. I vow to honor the wisdom of the earth and the intelligence of the cosmos, to listen deeply to the voice within, to follow the guidance of inner knowing, and to move in harmony with the pulse of the new earth. I choose community over competition. I choose alignment over urgency. I choose integrity over image. I choose the sacred over the superficial. We are not here to perform, we are here to remember. We are here to reweave the world with our visions and our voices. May this work be blessed. May the pathway be open. May this offering be clean and leave a wake that is clear and true. May this gathering of hearts be bold and pure and unwavering. We are the embodiment of graciousness, gratitude, and generosity. We are the ones who have been chosen and the ones who have chosen ourselves. May this collective rise together in coherence, unity, and integrity. We rise as one body, one mind, one heart, in the field of oneness with many voices. And so it is, and so we rise. That's the invitation of the Vision and Voices Collective.
Breathe that in. Powerful. Wow. Yeah, I kind of want to put that up somewhere and keep reading it. So I don't know if you wouldn't mind sending it out. I think
Absolutely.
how many of you
It's
resonated
beautiful.
with that? Is that you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that so much.
so
And
nice.
yeah, yeah. And so that's, you know, that's really what I stand for too. And what we're bringing into our retreat experience where we get 3.5 days together. So for those of you that are joining at the retreat just out of Sherwood Park, September 25th to 28th. But yeah, we wanted to just give people an opportunity to join us on Zoom, kind of get a taste of our medicine, what we're all about. We're also going to have an in-person event September 3rd where we get to share a little bit more. And then of course the upcoming retreat. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's on your website, Orest?
Yeah, when you go to the main page on the website, if you click that, click the link. I don't know if it went into a hyphenated link, but if you put that in your browser, then it'll open up the page, and that's the first thing that's on the page under the banner.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would encourage people to write their own too. Who are you? What do you stand for? Because that's the biggest thing right now is that if you don't know who you are, you're being asked to step up and figure it out. Are you actually living your life? Or are you still living in that old paradigm, that life of your programming, your conditioning, whatever you needed to be or do in order to be loved and accepted? Or have you actually stepped into what's true, what's real for you? So it's a great thing to define that for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So did you want to lead us in a little one of your invocations or prayers?
Yeah, it's I wanted to we've been talking a bit about certain things, but I would just want to invite everybody to tune in, and if you want to close your eyes during this, I'm going to speak in fancy terms I call it an invocation, but really I want to invite you guys to share a prayer with me, but feel into and allow yourself to drop into whatever's being spoken, but also go into your own sort of uh, prayerful mode, right? Like that hollow bone. Just allow the channel to open and clear, and allow yourself to be grounded and um, I'll share the prayer and then we'll move forward from there. So yeah, get yourself nice and comfortable and just start to take a few deep breaths and allow yourself to really open up and drop down into your space and just allow yourself to, let go and release any and all stress and any and all concern, any fears that have been in your system, any weight that you've been carrying on your shoulders, any and all stress, and just breathe into those areas and just allow that stuff to just fall away and allow yourself to go into a space where your shoulders go back and you start to feel relaxed inside of your body. And help the bottom of your body, the bottom of your torso. Just imagine that there's a beautiful anchoring cord, that cable that's coming, dropping out of the bottom of your body, and it's going down through the floor. It's going down into the earth, and that there's roots that are dropping out the bottom of your feet, and they're going down through the floor and planting themselves 9 feet down into the earth as your grounding cable continues to drop and anchor, making its way steadfastly and quickly all the way, almost instantaneously, all the way to the very center of the earth, into a beautiful green shimmering ball of light that is like the center of the earth, and that we ground that cable in there, and that we allow the energy of the earth to just as quickly come back up through our feet and up through the bottom of our torso, all the way through our legs, as we allow it to move through our front and back of our body, and up our shoulders and our neck and down our arms all the way to our fingertips and beyond, surrounding and swirling in our heads, and that beautiful green colored energy just allowing us to invite a space of openness, and to allow a space of transformation and healing to occur within ourselves, and the tops of our heads, imagining that this beautiful white light column is shooting out from the top of our head, and it's making its way out through the ceiling of your home, and making its way out into the evening sky, as it steadfastly is making its way out into the out beyond the Earth's atmosphere into space, and making its way all the way through all the stars and the nebula, making its way all the way out through the center of the spiral galaxy. And then when it gets there, that you come into a room that's filled with light, and you recognize that there's beings inside this room that are there, and that those beings are our soul light family. They're the ones that are on the other side of the veil, that are there to help guide us inside of our earth journey, and to bring those things into our awareness that are going to help us to remember our mission here on earth, and what we're here to experience and uncover, and remembering that we can connect with that circle of the soul light family. And as we are standing together in that circle, that we look at each one of them, whatever you perceive them to be, as beings there to support you as your soul light family. As you continue to breathe, and just take a look at each and every one of them that are in your circle, and let them know that you're now ready, willing, and able to take your rightful place inside of that circle once again, that you're ready to allow them to stream forward all of those beautiful ideas and inspirations, and allowing you to deepen into those spiritual gifts and that connectivity that you have as your birthright here on the planet, that you can draw down all of the inspiration and all of the motivation and all of the visions for things moving forward in the past that are going to serve you as you continue to release and let go and surrender, and to flow into these higher realms and this connection to your higher guidance, as the beautiful energy of this white light, this room of light, comes down back through that column, making its way steadfastly back down into the earth, and back down in through the top of your head. And that beautiful energy makes its way all the way down, just cascading down from the top of your head to the tips of your toes and your fingertips, and everywhere in between, connecting with that grounded earth energy, as you allow those energies to combine and meet, and using your breath and your intention and awareness to be able to take that energy and just pulse it and push it out into your field through your heart and through your different energy centers that are contained in and around your body, as we invite the spirit of the sacred, the great mystery, the grandfathers, the grandmothers, that beautiful one that we call Creator. We invite your spiritual helpers, those wingeds, those four-leggeds, those crawlers, those water beings, all the things that live and breathe and grow upon and below our planet. We give thanks to you on this day, Creator. Once again, we place you at the center of all things and the center of all life. We're grateful that all of those beautiful spiritual helpers and guides are here with us to assist us to release and deepen inside, to release from our thinking brain, and to drop down deeply into our bodies, and to just allow our nervous systems to reset and go into that place of rest and digest, and just be smooth. Just feel those edges inside of our physical body, our emotional, mental, spiritual bodies, as they align, and as they come into a place of rhythm, and begin to work in harmony together, as they harmonize, and as we continue to breathe and just allow the harmony to come into a place, so that we can surrender even more deeply into that space of trust, into that space of peace inside, into that space of unconditional love and acceptance, and that we can grab hold of and feel into and experience more deeply all of that freedom and that sovereignty that is here for us to claim and to reclaim as our birthright, as sovereign beings in union with the divine masculine and the divine feminine, these sacred energies coming together, and to allow us to open up our third eye awareness and to allow those crystals inside the pineal gland to be filled with the light of your love, creator, to be activated, to be opened, that we can go into a deepened place of our awareness, that we can access those sacred gifts that are contained within our energetic field as we open up and surrender to the bigger sphere of that toroidal field that is our mental, emotional, physical, spiritual body, that is that beautiful energy that flows through us like a hollow bone as you continue to allow us to connect more deeply with ourselves and more deeply with our higher self, creator grandfathers and grandmothers, as we call upon the realms of the ascended masters, that ascended masterful Christed spirit, that ascended masterful Buddhic spirit, all of those beautiful saints and all of those beautiful helpers that have walked the earth before. We call to that energy and that grandfather Yogananda to come and open up those portals so that we can stay awake inside of our dreams. We call on the Archangel Michael and all the archangels and those forces of light to surround us and to come into our field of our awareness, to come and bring that repairs that we need inside of our system, mind, body, spirit, and emotions, to bring those angelic ones that are those healers, those ones that are the ones that will allow us to come into that place of unconditionality within ourselves, to move into a place of surrender and to move into a place of acceptance and deeper trust for our journeys and deeper trust for that divine soul mission that's unfolding, to allow us to be that hollow bone, to allow the new experience of the new earth to bring in those codes that need to be activated inside of our system in a kind and gentle way, that we open up that space and that field of the Akashic records, all the masters, the teachers, the loved ones, that we come before you and we humble ourselves and recognize that we can move from this place of spirit inside of ourselves to meet and greet all the information that's available to us, and that you allow us to come before you and bow deeply before all of the information that's stored and contained and accessible for us inside of these different realms, to those sacred beings, those masters, those teachers, and those loved ones, that you would work with us, to work through us, to allow us to come to a place of divine grace from within ourselves, to have that psychic awareness and that vision, to have those antennae that come out the tops of our head, to be able to be cleansed and cleared and cleaned and purified in a kind and gentle way, so that we can strike that arc of connectivity into those higher realms, and that we can be more grounded, and that we can turn on those channels that are the channels of the creator, and the channels of the great mysteries, light and love and messaging, that we can open ourselves up to those sacred beings and those deities that are here to serve all of the highest good of all of humanity, or for our own highest good, and for the beauty and the blessings of the great mystery and the ways of the creator that are unfolding in our earth plane, that we can stay connected to heaven on earth through our embodied experience here on the earth, through our intention every morning as we wake up and remember that in our experience we're here to allow and surrender and create, co-create heaven on earth through all of our actions and our behaviors and all of our interactions with those who cross our path, and that we can use these opportunities to serve as we continue to deepen and ground even into more and more presence inside of the field of unity consciousness, inside of the field of oneness, as we align ourselves in there and as we completely surrender ourselves into the trusting of every moment that comes in and every moment that goes out, and every breath that comes in and every breath that goes out, that we trust the process, just like those trees are working with us in a symbiotic relationship to give us all the energy and all of the things that we need. We open ourselves up to be able to receive all of the blessings that are coming our way, that we allow ourselves to step into the fullness of all the divine beauty, the divine love, the divine grace that is theirs for us to receive, that we allow ourselves to perceive and to pierce the veil that stands in front of our sight at times, to be able to recognize this divine orchestration that the Creator is rolling out for us at this time, for all of those people that are in our lives as we continue to up level and increase our frequency, that all these things that are no longer ours to continue to be involved with would just fall away with grace and kindness and gentleness and swiftness, as we become a deeper embodiment of all of the love, the unconditional love and acceptance that is the Creator's blessing for us to receive and to move through, that we continue to allow ourselves to be guided by Spirit, and our connection to the other side, and our remembering that is down inside of our DNA and down inside of our lives, inside of our cellular level inside of our bodies, and from the cellular to the cellular, that the cellular levels are infused with all of the divine light and the energy in a kind, gentle way, that we're infused with all this light at the level and the capacity that we can handle in any given moment, and that these things happen with kindness and gentleness as we continue to grow and evolve, and we continue to advance forward inside of our dreams and our missions and our purposes, and that those divine purposes, moment by moment and in a larger perspective, would continue to make themselves known as we surrender ourselves once again into all the love that's accessible for us in any given moment. That we have that love, and we have the remembrance of the innocence of the love of a child, that childlike wonder and that childlike awe, and all of the beauty and the blessings and the magic and the adventure and all the things that are connected to the imagination, that we are able to use this sacred gift and reorient ourselves into this 5D earth, this new earth, that we can remember that truly we are blessed in living this heaven on earth, and we're living on the earth's playground, so that we can become masterful co-creators of all of those soulful wishes and blessings that we came here to experience during these times of the great awakening, and these times of the great changes and transitions and transformations that are occurring on the earth right now at this time, that we continue to let go and release, and we continue to allow the divine, the great mystery, the Creator, all the sacred grandfathers and the grandmothers, all of those beings of light that we're connected to, all of those ancestral forces from within us that we carry inside of our genetics, all of our ancestors. We're grateful for all of the ability to tap into these new forms of intelligence that want to work with us and work through us, so that we can show up in the best way as the greatest version of ourselves, tapped into all of that beautiful genius and the spirit and energy of brilliance, and the spirit and energy of co-creativity, and all of the essence of the Creator's unconditional love and acceptance for ourselves and for all things in our lives, all people in our circles of influence, all of our family members, that our home fires would continue to burn bright in our absence, and that road spirit would watch over us on our travels, wherever those might be. To we give thanks once again, Creator. We place you at the center of all things, in the center of all life, that you would continue to guide us and to walk with us, with all of those beautiful beings, those blessed beings of light from all of these realms that we called forward tonight. With this, I say to you, Creator, I give thanks in the name once again of the Great Spirit, the grandfathers and grandmothers, and our Mother Earth. Hey, hey, thank you. Just allowing yourselves to breathe all of that in, and just allow it to move in and out of your field in the way that it needs to. And if your eyes are closed, just allowing yourself to open them again and start to make those first first movements and shifts and adjustments inside of your space, and heart filled with gratitude. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. I can feel myself vibrating at a different frequency, just like crossing that threshold that you just brought us over to experience a glimpse of what's possible.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you to everyone. You're welcome. I appreciate being able to yeah, just being able to speak, transmit. Yeah.
And that's like a truth activation to me of, living in the new paradigm, in that fully co-creative, transcendent, beautiful, connected space. I think we could just listen to that recording over and over and and familiarize ourselves with that frequency. What if it was that simple? Just spend more time there in that frequency of love and connection.
Yeah, because we all have the ability, just like it's just shown now, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if anybody has anything else they want to post in the comments, feel free, and yeah, we'll continue to move forward. I'll turn it over to you, Jeri, and you can continue to guide us forward.
Yeah, I'm still like in this totally empty, beautiful space with my ancestors all there gathered and all the sentient beings and this beautiful light and love. And so since we're already really connected to our heart, and probably all of us have already had a heart opening experience. Yes. How many of you have a quieter mind right now? Yeah. So in trilotherapy, like I promised people a little bit of a glimpse into the power of trilotherapy, which is the modality that I studied with Zen master Nissim Amon. So he developed a therapeutic method called trilotherapy, and the tri is the three parts of ourself. So really it's the body, mind, and spirit, or he called them your head, your heart, and your center. And he refers to your head and your heart as your inner children. Your head is the inner logical mind, the masculine, and your heart is the inner feminine or the emotion. And then the center is the true self, that beautiful, loving presence that really is the key to living in a space of pure love, availability, and the key to accessing inner peace, no matter what's going on around you. So, really, to being the eye of the storm, the eye of the hurricane. And my belief is that we really are, a microcosm of the macrocosm. The world, or your reality, is an outpicturing of your consciousness. And so your outer relationships are always going to mirror your inner relationship between your own head and your own heart, which is good news because really we can't change the outside, but we can work on the inner relationship. And as we work on the inner relationship, your outer relationship shifts and change. So as we love ourselves more, really by just knowing ourselves more, right? To know thyself is to love thyself. You already are that. So as you love yourself more, then you're able to meet others in a whole new way. If you haven't connected with those parts of yourself, if you're not able to hold space for your own emotion, then you're going to have a lack of ability to hold space for others' emotions because you can only meet another to the level that you've met yourself. And so trilotherapy is really about healing that inner war. And so that inner war that we've been living in between our own head and our own heart, between our own inner masculine and inner feminine, has shown up outside of us as an outer war, where there's huge polarity on the planet right now. And WAR is also an acronym. And I love Matt Cahn's acronym for WAR, which stands for worry, anticipation, and regret. And he calls that the patterns of the ego, or the patterns of fear. So if you're living from fear, if you're living from your ego, then the ego is always looking for conflict. That's to keep it alive and to thrive. It thrives with war. Either there's something wrong with them or there's something wrong with me, where we tend to just be so judgmental and so critical of ourselves and others that create this war. When we're living in worry, anticipation, and regret, notice that none of those are present. None of those are present. Worry is in the future, anticipation is in the future, regret is in the past. And so we want to shift from war to the exact opposite, RAW, RAW, which stands for respectful acknowledging and welcoming of all that is. And those are the patterns. That's how you know that you're living from truth, that you're living from your soul, and that you're living a love-led life. Because love is right here, right now. And so when you're respectful, acknowledging, and welcoming of all that is, that's the opposite of resistance, isn't it? And our suffering is directly correlated to the disconnect between our head and our heart, or how much we resist what is, how much we judge what is, how much we criticize what is, how much we try to fix ourselves, change ourselves. So when we're trying to fix ourselves and we're trying to change ourselves and we're pushing parts of ourselves away, we're resisting. And that was a huge pivotal point in my journey when I went through my first dark night of the soul, that was 3 years, was recognizing that I was scrambling, looking outside of myself to find the answers. So I was seeking and thinking someone else had my answers. I went to every doctor, every practitioner, fix me, help me, change me. Basically telling myself that I'm not good enough, telling myself, reinforcing the belief that there's something wrong with me, reinforcing the belief that, that I screwed up somehow, or this wouldn't be happening. And so I was living in this resistance and wondering why I wasn't healing. So I was diagnosed with lupus, mitral valve prolapse. My thyroid was hyper. I had a full physical, emotional, and mental breakdown. And I was looking for answers, looking to fix myself, wondering why, it wasn't happening. Why aren't I healing? Until one day I realized, through discovering Ho'oponopono and forgiveness, because forgiveness just says, I'm sorry. Please forgive me for whatever I did in this life or a past life that created this reality for me. And it just embraces your innocence. Reconnecting with your innocence. And everything is either love or a cry for love, according to A Course in Miracles. And so I realized that every ache, every pain, all of these symptoms were just a cry for my love. It was all communication. It was actually my body working perfectly for me, not against me. And so when I welcomed it, I realized welcoming it is the opposite of resisting it. And so I started to welcome my aches, my pains, whether they're mental, emotional, or physical, and tell them, I'm here, I love you, I'm listening. And that's what finally worked. And then the healing began. And I started to notice that the symptoms lessened because I was actually filling the unfilled needs, right? Every emotion, every negative emotion, or every emotion that doesn't feel good has an unmet need underneath it. If you can identify what that need is, which is always a face of love, needing love, needing attention, needing affection, needing touch, needing support, and you give it what it needs, asking for outside support or giving yourself what it needs, then it's amazing what happens. So when I stopped resisting, because I was judging myself. There must be something wrong with me. Why aren't I healing? What did I do wrong to create this? Because I really believed I was a creator of my life. Well, you're the co-creator. You're 100% responsible for your 50%. What a relief. It's not all up to you. With life itself, with source, with creator. And so I started to just welcome what is, love what is. And the resistance, let go. My suffering, let go. It actually all let go of me. And here I thought it was my job to figure it out, to problem solve, and to let go of it. But what if it lets go of you, but only when it's loved enough? You can't judge a part of you enough that it'll let go. You're not trying to get rid of anything. We're trying to integrate it as wisdom. So it's all coming back home to yourself. Everything is just coming home to yourself. So just dropping into your heart for a moment, doing a little heart rub, just tapping on your heart. And just dropping into that feeling space. The feminine part of you, the emotional part of you. And just checking in with her. Does she feel strong or weak? Does she have some sadness? Does she have some anger? Is she able to dance freely? Is she able to express? Does she feel free? Does she have freedom to be herself, to express herself? Does she have friends that she can fully be who she is with? So just breathing in and out of your heart and just listening. Dear heart, how are you feeling? What are you needing? How can I love you more? Has she lost the ability to play and have fun? Has life become heavy and serious? Is she able to create? Does she have a creative endeavor that she's working on? Or has she not been able to connect with that creative energy? Is she loving freely, giving and receiving love openly, spending quality time with people that she loves? Because if she's not having fun, if she's not creating, and if she's not giving and receiving love, then she's not going to be happy. Because that's her definition of success and happiness. And so just checking in with the fun factor, the creativity, and that quality time giving and receiving love openly, expressing. And just notice out of those 3 buckets of success for your heart, is there one that isn't quite full? Is there one that could use a little bit more focus and attention? And then just thank her. Thank her for that information. And reassure her, I'm here. I love you. I'm listening. And then just one thing, one way that you can help her, help that feminine aspect to connect with her happiness, her joy. That's innate. It's already in you. It's not out there. Nothing and no one can make you joyful. It's in her. But if she's feeling depressed and suppressed, then she'll not be connected with that. And so now moving up to the masculine, to your head, to the logical, rational mind. And I want you to just check in with him. There's your little boy, your masculine energy. And just focus on the head, the masculine. How are you doing? What are you needing? Are you sleeping well? Are you strong or are you weak? Do you think a lot? Do you worry a lot? Would you like to spend less time worrying? Are you critical? Are you more critical of yourself or others? Who supports you? Are you tired? Are you exhausted? Are you trying to hold it all together and figure everything out? Do you need a break? Just checking in with that masculine part. In Western society, usually we're head dominant. We're trained to be head dominant. And he's also got his own definition of success. Is he healthy? So health is very important. Is he safe and secure? Is there security? And especially financial security is important. That he's able to look after the bills, the to-do list, his loved ones. And then his reputation is very important. So he worries a lot what people think about him. He needs to be respected. His reputation needs to be intact. So safety, security, reputation and respect, and health. If those three buckets aren't full, then he's not going to feel successful. And unfortunately, often he'll take over and tell the heart, no, you can't have fun. And you can't connect with your loved ones until the work is done. And we'll make his needs more important than hers sometimes. And then the heart becomes suppressed and eventually depressed, which is a lack of self-expression. But the head is just trying to protect and keep her safe. But then she feels like she's not free. And what happens is life becomes very heavy, very dark, very serious. He needs a break. He needs some help. And that's her. She knows how to have fun. She knows how to play. She knows how to connect with people. And then he can just take a break and relax. And so in trilotherapy, we check in with the head and the heart. We see who's in the driver's seat. And then we help them come to a place of balance, forgiving one another, where the head would say to the heart, I'm so sorry that I've not allowed you to fully express. I'm so sorry that I've been so judgmental and critical of you, that I haven't told you how much I love you. We need to say kind things to ourselves. We need to compliment ourselves. We need to love ourselves. We need to listen to ourselves. But usually there's a disconnect between our head and our heart, and that looks like I don't love myself. I don't trust myself. I don't prioritize myself. I don't listen to myself. I don't look after myself. And that's who's the I and who's myself. And so we want to watch that. We want to notice that and move toward I love myself. I prioritize myself. I trust myself. I listen to myself. I look after myself. I treat myself like I'm important and lovable, bringing them together, apologizing. And then once we get our head and our heart upgraded, because the old paradigm, the head is like a guard dog, barking orders, being critical, stranger danger, protection, protection, protection. Our head is the protector. And then that turns our heart into a wounded, scratching tiger. So that's the old paradigm of the guard dog and the wounded, scratching tiger, where she feels weak. And I can't express, and I can't cry freely, and I can't dance freely, and I can't express freely, or I'll be judged, I'll be criticized. And so the upgrade into the new paradigm is into the lion and the lioness, where the head becomes the lion, resting under a tree, and the heart becomes the lioness, hunting, free, on the prowl. But the lion's always watching. I'm here for you. I'm here for you, my beloved. Just let me know if someone bothers you. But she feels free. And so in human form, we call that upgrading from the prince and the princess, waiting to be rescued, to the king and the queen, right? The king and the queen of the jungle. But I really like the image of the guard dog, barking guard dog, wounded, scratching tiger, upgraded to a lion and lioness. So we're upgrading to that divine masculine, that divine feminine, right? The lion and the lioness. And then we're really shifting into what, in Orest's prayer, like that whole image where we're co-creating, we're working for each other instead of against each other. Because before that, the lion and the lioness, they're supporting one another, they're loving one another, they're complimenting one another, they're spending quality time with one another, they're playing together, having fun together, resting too, right? But the guard dog and the wounded, scratching tiger is like that, one foot on the brake, one foot on the gas. So how many of you have experienced spin cycle? Where it just feels like Groundhog Day, right? Where you just start to move forward and then the fear kicks in because you get to that threshold, right? You get to that place where something needs to change. And then the foot on the brake, whoa, that's not safe. Unfamiliar means danger, 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 right? And so the head takes over, puts the foot on the brake. Then the heart, she's like, yeah, I need variety, I need adventure, I need fun, I need play, I need uncertainty. But the head needs certainty. And so she takes risks, and then he puts the brakes on, and she takes risks, and he puts the brakes on, and it just feels like this spin cycle, one foot on the gas, one foot on the brake. And so we need to give them a voice. And in trilotherapy, we listen to them, we give them a voice, we have them express themselves. The head expresses its fear that, I'm kind of afraid of the heart because she's pretty haphazard sometimes. And she'll do some crazy stuff, right? She's the risk taker. Heart is courage, but we'll blame the heart. Like it's the heart that's the fearful one because that's an emotion. It's actually our head that's more fearful. Our head is the programmed one that is afraid of letting go of what's familiar. That's all it is. And our head is not the bad guy, but it's often a protector. And so as soon as it understands the heart, and as soon as the heart promises not to take over and be haphazard and drink too much, because that's one of the ways the heart fights back, is it drinks. The heart loves alcohol because it shuts the head down. And then it can flirt and express freely, but sometimes it goes overboard. And then the head clamps down even more. See, you made a fool of us. Now my reputation, right? The reputation went out the window. And so there's this inner battle, this inner war that we end. We end that inner war and we get them loving each other and working together and forgiving each other. And we also recognize that these parts will remind us of our parents. So often our heart will say, geez, my head is a lot like my mother or my father. And so instead of operating from our conditioning and our programming, we reclaim who we really are. Our head is not our mother and father. So we actually transcend our karmic imprint and become who we really are. So once the head and the heart aren't in opposition and fighting so much, just like kids in our house. When you leave 2 4-year-olds at home and there's no parent at home, what happens? If you have a son and a daughter and they're left at home alone, someone's going to take over the leadership role. So even if they're twins, even if they're the same age, like our head and our heart, often the little boy is going to take over, lock the little girl in the room, just stay safe, don't answer the door, don't answer the phone, keep you safe. And then she feels like she's in prison, she has no freedom, she's miserable. But he's not doing it because he's bad, but as a protector. Or they're just fighting for control. And so the secret also is that inner parent. We need to come home to ourselves. We need to reparent ourselves. We need to connect with the center part, which is our inner parent. And so when the parent comes home and it listens to the little girl and the little boy, gives them a voice, brings them together, let's work together. Let's apologize. Let's forgive one another. Compliment one another. Let's appreciate one another instead of criticizing one another. So that's one way we can just start to heal that rift, is just appreciate ourselves every single night. Some people will do gratitudes, but I actually like doing appreciations. What do you appreciate about yourself? So that's the head and the heart appreciating one another. And then it starts to bring them back together. And now that the head and heart are calm and the parents come home, if you really want to strengthen that center part, the inner parent, then meditation will strengthen the inner parent. Where we just say, not now, to the monkey mind, to the emotions, even to the physical sensations, the itches. And we sit in meditation and we strengthen the center. And so in our retreat, I'll be sharing some different trilotherapy experiences to help to balance our head and our heart, up-level them into a loving, trusting, surrendered relationship where they can just play in this playground or Disneyland that life is, get on the roller coaster, go through the haunted house, not take it so seriously, but enjoy it. And so the trilotherapy mantra that you can start today is life is beautiful. It's meant to be fun. Everything is all right. So the head needs to be reminded from the heart to look for the beauty in everyone and everything. Life is beautiful. Look for the beauty because that's the bridge to love and to living in love. It's meant to be fun. It's not supposed to be so serious. If you're not having fun, you need more heart in there. And then the inner parent says to both of them, everything is all right, which basically means I'm home. I'm here. Your presence makes everything all right. Healing takes place in your presence, not in your absence, which was another huge insight that I had when I was working on healing my body from a dis-ease that I was experiencing. When I sat in my center, I was available for the download that just said, well, healing takes place in your presence, not in your absence. You haven't been here very much. You've been in the future and in the past, but you haven't really been here where healing takes place in this present space. And miracle, that is the miracle zone. You are pure, loving presence. So just take a breath into your loving presence. Expand it, enlarge it, and just imagine embracing your two inner children with your loving presence and letting them know, I'm here. I'm home now. I'm so sorry I've been absent. Notice if you've been favoring one over the other. And so I want you to focus on some meditation, awakening the master of your mind and emotions. So that's just a little glimpse into Zen Trilotherapy. And wow, yeah, that time flies, doesn't it? So, was that helpful? Did that give you any insight? Okay, so and I covered that their success is different to the head and the heart. It's also different to the center. So there's also 3 buckets that need to be filled for the center. And that's a life of meaning, which is like finding your gift and sharing it with the world. And so the center is not going to be satisfied if it feels like you're not really living your purpose. So you need to find your gifts, share them with the world, that life of meaning and growth and contribution. You know. So there's actually 9 buckets of success, 3 for the head, 3 for the heart, 3 for the center. And you want to look at which ones are empty and which ones are full. And attend to the buckets that are empty so you can actually feel fulfilled and live your life, the one you're here to live, your purpose. You have gifts to share, and the world needs them right now more than ever. Oh, thank you, Cecilia. Yeah, so if you're really looking to connect with that next level of sacred service, leadership, some tools to help you cross into that threshold of a love-led, soul-led life. That is what our whole retreat is about. And so I invite you to join us. You can find it. It's just sacredshiftretreat.eventbrite.ca for more information. Type it here, .eventbrite.ca. And if any of you that are present on this call want to join, if you use the code just for you, you'll get $100 off the early bird. And if you have any questions, any concerns, if you'd like to set up payment plans, please reach out to Orest or myself. We are available for that as well, to just have a discussion. So anything you'd like to add, Orest, before?
Thank you, Jeri. So we have essentially another half an hour. It's a 2-hour thing, 6:30 to 8:30, so we have 30 minutes, yeah?
Oh, that's not interesting. I thought we were ending at 8. You're right. You're right. Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What I wanted to do is we've gone into the head and the heart and created this sort of uh, union. I feel really centered in my heart, and I feel present in my body. And I just wanted to say that in terms of what we're moving towards inside of our future, one of the ways that we can really get into an alignment is doing the things that we've done tonight as an example. And I'm sure that you guys have some of your own practices that you're involved with as well. But one of the ways that we can really show up powerfully in the world and start to find out about some things is to ask ourselves, and you guys already know this, but this will be a reminder for you, asking ourselves really powerful questions. I mean, even like specific things that we really want the answer to. Like there, it's great to be in that space where we are like, well, who am I? What really am I here for? And those are great questions, right? But they're very like they can be very overarching and sometimes like daunting even, right? And so just to allow ourselves to dial into the questions. So as an example, I'm going to ask you guys a question and just answer it for yourself, write it down, whatever you want. But if you thought about your life right now, um, what's one question you could ask yourself that would make the biggest difference in your life right now? And I don't have that answer. We'll give you guys a few moments, but you can write something down or write a couple things down. The question, I just wrote it in the chat, you guys.
Thanks for sharing, Wayne. Does anyone else have one they want to share in the chat? Yeah, good one, Phoebe.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Wayne said, if I won $1 million, what would I do? And then just do his best to do that without needing the money, right? Phoebe says, how is the way for me to serve in this next chapter of life? Yeah, what would sacred service look like in this next chapter of your life? That's a good one. Celia says, what would I do if all my dreams came true right now? Ah, and that's interesting because there can actually be fear that comes in with that, I noticed, which is one of the reasons that maybe we sabotage ourselves because it's actually, that fear of success and not being able to handle it or the fear of failure, right? We have really two underlying fears, fear of being successful or fear of failing. And both of them can lead to self-sabotage. Yeah, why am I blocking? Yeah, so, what's that fear? What am I afraid might happen if I actually had all my dreams come true? What's the worst thing that can happen if all my dreams came true? What's the best thing that could happen if all my dreams came true? It's good to kind of visit those, isn't it? Am I?
I just gave an example of a couple of questions there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to expand on those, Orest?
I put that in the main chat, or did I directly message you on that, Jeri? That's in the main
Oh,
chat.
sorry. It's the main chat. Yeah.
Okay. I like to do an exercise that can be a dyad exercise where maybe we'll even give this a go, but um, what's calling me? It's like we've spoken about um, that we're in this times of transition and change, and we recognize on different levels within ourselves that we do feel call forward, that something new wants to emerge through us. So it's like, even what is that new thing that wants to emerge through me, right? What wants to be born through me in my experience? What's calling me? What's my next deepest bow into service? Those kinds of questions are going to activate something inside of us that are going to lead the answers to us. And so that's one way of asking questions that are like powerful questions. And I know for myself, just as a practice, once in a while when I go down this road and start asking questions and I write them, I find that I deepen into a different space and then new questions emerge. And so I'll write these things down, and as I'm writing them down, I just open myself up to this incredibly beautiful flow state. And so there's sort of two approaches to getting into a flow state. One of them is like riding a bike. We jump on the bike and we use some sort of method or some process or something, and we can arrive at that place. And one of them is just to drop in and be in that space. And so one of the keys is to um, be able to train our system to be able to drop in and uh, be in a flow state or be in a really open, beautiful, loving space where we can feel peace and we can feel love. And sometimes we need the tools, though, right? We need the things that are going to trigger. So these things, the tools and asking questions, things like this, it's um um it's like a positive trigger, if that makes sense to you. Does that make sense to you guys? We do this stuff anyway, right? But to just sort of put it on our radar and make these things a part of our practice. So I just want to ask you guys, what are some of the things that are a part of a regular practice that you're engaged in that help you to get back into a space of remembering and a place of flow? Yeah, for sure, being in nature, Jen.
Yeah. Remembering that you are that, right? We're the neurons of the earth.
Yeah, indeed, prayer, yeah.
Energetic check-ins, constant gratefulness, 3 breaths often. Yeah. Good ones, Phoebe.
I came up with a new acronym here just this morning, actually,
Oh.
and I love it. It's the oops, I'm just writing it in the chat here. It's the RPMs of life.
I
It
love
gets
it.
the motor revving and running. Ritual, prayer, and meditation. It
Mm.
could be as simple as lighting a candle and just watching the candle a little bit and meditating, or calling and invoking the spirit of fire to come and burn up those things inside of us that no longer serve us, right? And in fact, I used to take this to an extreme place. I shouldn't say extreme, sounds judgmental. I used to take this to an interesting place within myself when I use that candle and imagine that that fire is burning bright inside of me, and then I'd imagine that the fire is completely enveloping me to the point where places inside of my body where I felt like there was some sort of an energy that was an imprint or a block or something that was connected to me that was frozen, like holding energy. And I would imagine that it was just smoldering and burning away, um, whatever that block or thing was there. And so I would use different colored flames, lots of times invoking that violet flame to come and to completely burn away everything inside my body, contained in and around my energetic field. And yeah, these kinds of rituals are really powerful, right? And so if I'm going to be setting intention and invoking and doing prayer and putting things out there, then the flip side of that stuff, if I'm projecting out there in the world through prayer, then the coinciding other side, the other side, the flip side of the coin is meditation so that I can sit still and receive, like get my prayers answered. If I'm always busy, go, 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 it's a lot harder. I'm not creating a space or an opening to allow um, the universe to reflect back what it is that I'm asking for. So it's really important, even now more than ever, I would say, to be able to take these times and have a practice, right? And so these are some of the things that we're also going to engage in during this upcoming retreat, is that we want people to walk away with a plan so that they are engaged in a practice. Maybe you're active in something. Maybe you used to do something, like maybe it's time to bring forward the practice again, or maybe it's time to just renew something with your practice. I know that I've gotten away from it in the summer because the summer's uh, busier or whatever. But during the winter time, I was getting up at 5 a.m. with my sweetie, and we were doing Kundalini yoga every morning until 6 a.m. And then after that, I'd immediately come to my computer and I would do emotional freedom technique tapping. So it could be, yeah, like it's powerful, right? It could be um, it could be tap. I was tapping to just open up and um, oh, nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Channeling is for 100% good. Yeah. So if it's a meditative practice, if it's a meditative practice, a body movement practice, emotional freedom tapping, walks in nature. The thing I love about nature too is that the trees are not only are they providing us clean air to breathe, but they have an energetic to them. Plants also have it, and it creates an energy in us in a space that it permeates our energetic field and cleanses and clears us as well, right? It can also heal us, as you well know. So to remember to have our practices in place and to work it, updating and upgrading, what it is that's going to really serve us. Yeah, absolutely, hugging a tree, and even at times recognizing if we have something funky going on inside of our system, to ask the spirit of that tree to work with us and to uh, help to dissolve or remove whatever that thing is, right? Yeah, 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 totally, right.
Yeah, you can
So
ask nature, you can ask spirit, you can just, spirit, I give this to you. And literally like pull it out and give it, surrender it. And so I often do just like a surrendering of everything that, if I'm feeling this dis-ease or uncomfortable energy, and checking in regularly. I check in regularly and just what sensations am I feeling in my body? how open am I? And invite myself to just relax, open, release several times throughout the day. So adding just those little pieces, simple, like the 3 breaths too that Phoebe was saying, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting in a sense of being in a nice safe space in a safe place, having our practices, doing all those things, and feeling aligned and really allowing ourselves to step into those emotional states that we can project into the future because we're actively co-creating a reality as we're moving forward. And with all that said, I think the challenge comes in when we engage others and when we're in the world having the drive in traffic or when people, for those of you that got to go to the office every day or like whatever, right, even just a level of impatience that can brew up when we're standing in line somewhere at the store or whatever. So that's always the challenge is, okay, like how do I work this and maintain this energetic connection and space within myself and feeling heart centered um, in the midst of all of the um, involvement with the rest of the world. That's really the how are we holding the vibration in the company of others who might not be in the same sort of place that we are. And so this is one of the thresholds that we're going to cross here into this retreat, right? One of the things that I heard fairly recently that I share it with everyone because I love it, man. You guys have heard that saying like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear? If you haven't heard it, there's a saying in the world, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And then I heard the next piece that kind of blew my hair back a little bit, even more than it already is. Um, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is really ready, the teacher will disappear. And so then we're left dialed into that guide inside. I like to call it that guide inside, right? That inner guide, that inner truth, that inner compass, that inner knowing, whatever you want to call it. Um, and then
I
being
call
able to say that again.
it G, you are you.
Yeah, exactly right.
Mm.
Yeah, the guru. Um, Yeah, so that's, crossing the threshold, the mentors and the guides and coming into that new place of all that magical elixir that's inside of us based on what we've gathered together to ourselves and cultivated through our awareness and our mindfulness and our practices so that we show up not just projecting certain things into the world, but we actively are showing up and recognizing that we are the medicine. Our journey is the medicine and that we're coming to a time and a place where the world looks like it's in absolute chaos for those who have been just tapped into the straight, material world, 3D reality, Newtonian physics, world of matter kind of stuff, right? Um, we're elevating and going into a whole different place, right? And so people are awakening all over and they're left in a place of uncertainty, in a place of losing their footing in the world if they've been focused on making money and building their career their whole lives. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. But now there's a new emergence of a spiritual connection and a whole different reality that's showing up and emerging for them. And um, so we are the coaches, the teachers, the healers, the mystics, the visionaries, the embodied leaders. Like we are the ones that the world has been waiting for, and now it's time for us to use our magic and our medicine to shine, right? And to be able to lead others. And it's up to us to decide how we're going to go about doing that. And so that's why I would really love what Jeri and I have created in this workshop and what we're rolling forward. And so the invitation she's already made to you guys that this is the workshop and we're going to step into this and we're going to take a look at these things so that we can map some things out and that we can access some deeper ways to show up in a more embodied place of our magic and of the mystery that's working through us and as leaders in the world and on our pathway and inviting others into our sphere of influence so that we can, collectively create this new earth, right? this new earth that's emerging through our experience, and tracking that as best we can so that we can stay awake and stay in a place of magic and miracles and heaven on earth kind of stuff. So anyways, with all that, that's what I have to say. And so we wanted to share some just the last final minutes here. There's 10 minutes left to be able to hear from you guys. And Jeri, I think you had a certain thing that you wanted to share.
Yeah, something else came up for me to share, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. If there was did I say I was going to share something?
Yeah, something at the end. Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, what was that?
Well, go ahead and share the magic that's coming forward then.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because I was just looking through my trilotherapy notes before this call, and one of the Zen Master's essays kind of stood out for me, and it's kind of just simple and sweet, and it's actually called the simple solution, because I think there is like a quickening, a simplification where our minds have been so much in charge that we've been overcomplicating everything, and we've made a mess of things, quite frankly. So we have to get back to the simple truth, and and so he just gave a few examples in this essay that I thought were really interesting. So he says, when NASA began to send rockets to outer space, the Americans discovered that there weren't any pens that could write under the conditions of zero gravity. Therefore, they put together a research and development team. And after 6 years and an investment of $12 million, they were able to invent a pen that could write under the conditions of zero gravity and at a range of temperature from minus 20 degrees Celsius up to 300 degrees Celsius. The Russians, who were also grappling with a similar problem, threw all the pens in the garbage and supplied astronauts with pencils for writing in the spacecraft. In 1970, a Japanese citizen complained to a soap factory that he bought a package of soap that when he opened it, it was empty. The factory took the matter very seriously. They investigated and examined the assembly line of soaps in order to operate a system that would prevent another empty package from being sent to market. They added an X-ray camera at the end of the line, operated by 2 employees who ensured that each package would be scanned if it wasn't filled and then removed the packaging from the line. The machine cost $250,000 to develop. The system worked for 8 months without incident until some malfunctions began to appear. In order to avoid stopping the entire packaging line while fixing the system, one of the junior employees suggested setting up a heavy-duty fan at the end of the line. If an empty box moved in front of the fan, the airflow would push the box off the conveyor belt. He tried it, and it worked. It cost $30. Could it be that on a psychological level, the solution is simple, not as difficult as we think? In my opinion, the answer is yes. I call it trilotherapy. It's the kind of thing that, surprisingly, hasn't been thought of sooner. Is it possible to alleviate depression in an hour and a half? I say it is. How long does it take to make peace between 2 loving friends who have been apart for years? How much time is necessary when both are prepared to apologize and admit to their mistakes, which were made for lack of choice, without recognizing an alternative? If we apologize, we forgive, we say we love each other, and we invite the other person to be with us. If we both understand the needs of each other, promise to be more attentive, how long would you need in order to turn over a new leaf? A year wouldn't be necessary to talk. It would be a pity to waste valuable time. It's important to reach the actual thing, the most intimate conversation between mind and emotion, in order to build a new inner contract and put it in place of the old one that was written in childhood under very vulnerable circumstances. There's no fear of failure. There's no fear of worsening the situation. The beginning of any communication between two sides in conflict is a blessed endeavor. So I love that, because I think that this is kind of what we're moving through, as we're shifting out of that problem solver, overcomplicating everything, and then just into what's real. It's simple, it's true. The truth is always simple and profound. It's simple and deep. And so what we're doing here is we're really helping people to reconnect with what's real. Love is what's real. So let's reconnect with the truth of who we really are. We've never been separate from that. We've just blocked ourselves up. We have all of these protectors, all of these BS belief systems. And so my goal, and what we're doing here is we're helping people to reconnect, to remember who they are. And to me, it's connection beyond belief, which means out of the mind. So if you feel like you're losing your mind, you're one of us. Congratulations. It takes a lifetime to lose the mind. And then we're getting out of those BS belief systems so that we can actually experience connection beyond belief, because every belief is limiting. And so at first it's about belief repatterning and finding a more positive belief. And eventually it's about transcending the beliefs altogether and just unity, where I am you and you are me, and you are my perfect mirror.
I am you, you are me, and together we are free.
We free, yeah. Unity consciousness, where there is no separation. And Rumi knew that. Rumi was enlightened. And trilotherapy is basically a simple path to enlightenment, where we can do it in less than the 6 years that the Buddha sat under a Bodhi tree in order to realize that he's not his mind, right? And transcend the mind. And we judge it as a bad thing to lose our mind. But maybe that's when things really get real, right? So yeah, Rumi said the world is our mirror, right? And he says when you look in a mirror, you don't see the state of the mirror, you see yourself. And so when you look at the earth, you don't see the state of the earth. You don't see all the disconnect, all the bad things. You see yourself. You see the rift between your own head and your own heart, and that disconnection. And so when we forgive ourselves and we love ourselves and we come back to and remember who we are, the world changes. Yeah. What you laughing at, Orest?
Oh, I had it, and then I laughed and let it go.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who's in for simplifying things and going deep? Yeah. Yeah, so at the very least, just stay in touch. Orest has his Evolutionary Edge offerings. I have a Trilotherapy Level 1 coming up mid-September, which actually includes the retreat. So if you want to chat with me more about that, then yeah, just reach out and I'd be happy to have a conversation. So lots of opportunities to stay connected, stay plugged in, and let's lead the change we wish to see in the world.
Would we like to just take a moment to go around everybody in the circle here and just do a bit of a checkout, couple word checkout, like where you're at right now in this moment?
Yes, please.
Wayne, you're at the top of the screen with your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Jerry, you should send us an email about what you just said. You have this child one, and then this retreat would be included, and also maybe some information on the retreat. And we're lucky we got the address to Everbright, and the word just for you. So, but maybe everybody else who didn't get it or didn't watch this replay will get those. And so for a few words to check out, basically this was a really great time we got to spend together to learn about the difference between my head and my heart and the center and the three sections each one of those. Yeah, I would like to get into those deeper because those were great things. Like I'm figuring, what would I do to feel better? I'd like to go out and dance. So that little lioness in my heart is not getting to express its activities and creativities and its freedoms to feel all it can be to complement the other two spots. So I thank you for tonight and Orest's our prayer that we get to do. That was excellent. So thank you, and I'm glad to meet the rest of you. And peace. Yeah.
The activities, the creativities, and the proclivities.
Yeah, and I will send a follow-up email. Thank you, Wayne. I'll include all those things. I'll also include the 9 buckets of success where they're all laid out for you for head, heart, and center. Yeah, it's
That's what I didn't get the notes and all that, but that was really critical, essential, and like the nail on the head. That was the really good stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's just a little mini trilotherapy lesson. So I'll send a copy of it for all of you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Cecilia? Camilla?
Hi. Well, thank you guys. It was awesome. I really love to connect with my heart and my mind. You know, I do Reiki on people, and I think I forgot to do this to myself because I really connect, and I got a lot of information actually from my heart. What I really appreciate that, and you know, the balance with masculine and feminine. And the other thing that I feel like very related what Jeri was saying today. I had a car accident a few months ago, and actually I needed to stop somehow, you know, and I have been having such a hard time just to take that time to heal, you know, to heal and to stop. And but in that process is when I decided, okay, I leave my full-time job. I'm going to be focused on this project. So it has been at the end of the day a blessing. But yes, I relate a lot of for what you are saying, how hard is to listen to our bodies and take the time and create that space just for us, you know, and and just do nothing, just rest. You know, it's so hard to just do nothing, you know. But I really appreciate tonight. I'm very happy to see you guys again, and thank you for doing this. It was very, very, very nice. Camila, say something.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Just today I was kind of like in a therapy, and it was I started to realize that I for a really long time, I don't know if it was through programming, I don't know why, but I didn't know how to focus on myself. Like I was always focused on other people and what can I do for other people and what other people would think. And it's like I had a lot of trouble going inside and really focusing on what I want and what I want to create out of my life. And I found that a lot of the time I was left very exhausted and resentful to others. And I didn't really know that's what was wrong with me. So yeah, and today helped me a lot. And I wrote like a lot of the questions down too.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Jen?
Yeah, I so appreciate it. It's nice to be reminded of all the tools that are out there. And nice to be reminded to kind of connect in, ask questions, go into like a deeper dive of this and how we want to show up in the world. So thank you. I'm definitely interested in the retreat for sure.
Wonderful.
Nice. All the tools that are out there and all the resources that are in there.
Yeah. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Jen. Yeah. And Phoebe?
Well, I have really benefited, I can say, a lot from listening to going through the 2 trilotherapy groups with Jeri over the past few years, even though I was like really, really debilitated with an illness and the drugs that I was taking for it. But anyway, it somehow all filtered in, but it's helped so much to just the way that you gently help us find our way. Really, you don't really say these are all the answers, but you just kind of have a really, really beautiful way of guiding me anyway through to find the way, sort of find it myself. You put it all there, but you don't kind of say, here's all the answers on the exam sheet or something like that. But it's just been really good, and it's still sinking in, but it's all becoming more and more natural now. The way that you break things down and sort things out. Like, I had no idea how to even attack all this. I used to think of everything in me all kind of like stuffed down in a 60 years worth of stuff I didn't know how to deal with and never really wanted it to come up because I was so scared of what you do with it when it does come up. But now it's like triggers have become a thing that I find, oh, there's one. It's kind of almost fun. Like, there's one. It's something I need to look at. I wonder what I'm going to get what isn't going to be bothering me anymore after I look at it. It's just all got so much better and easier, and it's kind of fun. Yeah. What used to be terrifying,
Yeah, you
the
get
fear is
trigger
kind
happy.
of really gone. You trigger happy. Anyway, I just really encourage anyone that hasn't done any of those work with Jeri. She's really wonderful
Thank
at
you.
leading, and I'm sure Orest is too. I just don't know you yet, Orest,
Mm-hmm.
other than tonight, which is great. Really appreciated tonight. It made me, I'm really glad I made it on.
Mm.
Thank you. And to all the rest of you there too, there was a nice energy flowing for the last 2 hours around.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Jeri?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm just, I'm really feeling lots of gratitude. Um, Thank you so much for your presence, for your energy. Thank you, Orist, for saying yes and just sharing your gifts and your brilliance. And it's pretty
Mm.
awesome that you've connected with that and you really are living your purpose. Like I can feel it. And your prayers are out of this world. I could listen to them for hours and the invocations and then yeah, and just all of the reminders, right? We all need to be reminded who we are and that we're all mirrors for each other. So what you love and admire in another, you've got that in yourself too. Just spend a little more quality time with yourself, with your heart, with your feelings, and it'll be revealed.
Indeed, yeah. Yeah, everything that we desire is on the other side of surrender.
Like that. Yeah, how about you, Orest?
I really feel I'm grateful to be here as well. I really love the just the strengthening, like the deepening and the strengthening of the connection with the heart and the openness inside. And I feel very I just feel nice and calm and nice and light and grounded, present. I feel very present and ready for I'm ready for our next gig on September 3rd. We're doing a 2 hour live thing at Sweet Pea Cafe and Playhouse for anyone who wants to join. We wanted to start off with this online thing, then we're going to do the in-person thing, and then we have the retreat coming up. So just wanted to give people an opportunity, whether you join the retreat or if you just want to attend these events, bring a friend with you. Like we just want to get a continued movement inside of these containers and in the community. Just continue to build and grow community so that we can serve and support one another. So just wanted to put a shout out to that. But yeah, I feel very aligned and very grounded and centered. So mhm.
Thank you. Yeah, so it'd be nice to have you Edmontonians to see you in person and give you a nice big hug, and virtual hugs for Phoebe and Powell River. And one of these days you're going to get to a retreat. I know it. Or have one at, she has a horse ranch. Have one out in Powell River.
Nice.
Leanne had really wanted to come too, but she couldn't get it together tonight.
Oh, that's okay. I'll send her the replay. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Well, thank
perfect.
you. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you so much. Love you all. And hope to see you again soon.
Peace, everyone.
Peace out.
Thank you all and good night.